Hello everyone, welcome to my channel B&B CBS Gossip 24. Hope and Steffy doomed to be enemies. Love fest just the calm before storm? The bold and the beautiful spoilers hint that Hope Logan and Steffy Forrester may be doomed to be enemies, so their latest love fest may serve as the calm before the storm. Steffy and Hope could be destined for another round of their rivalry, so let's discuss this tricky situation. In the November 5th episode, Steffy expressed her happiness over Hope for the future's relaunch and Hope's engagement to Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton. There was a lot of talk about how far Hope and Steffy had come on their path to friendship. As far as Steffy's concerned, there's no need for them to be enemies anymore. Hope agrees about keeping the conflict behind them, so now they're just one big family and really feeling the love. However, we have to acknowledge that Hope and Steffy have had similar moments like this in the past. There have certainly been other times when Steffy and Hope tried to focus on peace before failing miserably in the end. The truth is that Hope and Steffy's feud has been a huge part of the show for many years. It's tough to believe B&B's just going to let that go completely when it's such an easy path to drama. Of course, that doesn't mean Steffy and Hope necessarily have to fight over Liam. The love triangle is hopefully over, but Hope and Steffy have historically found plenty of other reasons to clash. At this point, it's probably just a matter of how long Steffy and Hope can realistically avoid ripping into each other over some issue. This definitely feels like a question of when Hope and Steffy will face off again, not if. It's fine for Steffy and Hope to hold hands like they're going to be BFFs now, but many B&B fans know better than to believe it'll last forever. That's just not how Hope and Steffy roll, so stay tuned for updates on any troubling news that might ruin their new friend status. The bold and the beautiful spoilers suggest Steffy and Hope had better enjoy getting along while they still can. Carter Walton snaps, sabotages Hope for the future? Carter Walton has been dumped and friend-zoned again on The Bold and the Beautiful. Has the daytime soap's Mr. Nice Guy finally had enough? Technically Carter set Hope Logan free and told her to go be with Liam Spencer. But, spoilers say the Lope wedding could trigger something in Carter. At this point, who could blame the poor guy? Will Carter Walton become bitter when the Forrester Creations office turns into a Lope wedding hub? Here's what's coming up next on the CBS soap. Spoilers down below. Carter Walton finally snaps. Carter Walton will probably go down in B&B history as the soap's most eligible bachelor. For years Carter had no action on the soap. Finally the writers decided to give him a couple of love interests on the show, and the romances always end with Carter in the friend zone and back on the market. Despite the fact that he's literally the perfect boyfriend, he keeps getting dumped. The bold and the beautiful spoilers hint that Hope Logan calling off their engagement so she can marry Liam instead might be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Carter. The poor guy has become the official mascot for Nice Guys finish last. Daphne is a bad influence. Daphne Rose will pounce on Carter Walton soon, and she's got some skeletons in her closet. Could Daphne the Nose influence Carter to do some shady business dealings at Forrester Creations and sabotage his ex's line? No matter how nice Carter is, he has feelings too and he's tired of the women in Los Angeles stomping on them. Should Hope Logan watch her back at work? Is her ex going to be gunning for her? Hope and Steffy stood only a few feet apart, smiling as Ridge raised a toast to family resilience, forgiveness, and second chances. The words drifted through the air like floating glass. Steffy glanced sideways at Hope, the hint of a smile still there, but something flickered beneath it. A question. A warning. A memory. Hope looked back, guarded, gentle, signaling I mean no harm. But the thing no one said aloud was louder than the music. They had been here before. And peace between them had always been temporary. When the gathering thinned, Finn found Hope by the terrace railing, looking out at the skyline. She wiped a small tear from her cheek. Not sadness, just release. You okay? Finn asked softly. Hope exhaled. Just, overwhelmed. Rich speech got to me. Finn nodded, too understanding. Hope smiled, small, fragile. You always know how to ask the right thing. Maybe because we're both trying so hard to be everything for everyone, Finn replied. That was the first fracture. Not romantic. Not intentional. Just connection. Steffy saw it. The way Finn leaned in just a little too gently. The way Hope's shoulders eased, just slightly. Steffy's jaw tightened, just for a moment, before she smoothed it away with a swallow of champagne. The calm cracked, barely. But Steffy felt it. Scene 2. Liam's warning. Out on the lower balcony, Liam approached Hope while she was refreshing her drink. His expression wasn't angry, just too familiar. "You and Steffy doing the friends thing again?" Liam asked quietly. Hope nodded. "We're trying. For the kids. For peace." Liam looked at her, not unkindly, but with a kind of sad knowing. "You and Steffy don't do peace," he said softly. "You do cycles." Hope stiffened. "We're older now. We've grown." "I know," Liam said. He didn't smile. "But patterns don't go away just because you want them to." Hope looked away, throat tight. Liam lowered his voice. "If you need someone to talk to, I'm here." Hope's pulse stuttered, confusion, nostalgia, resentment, longing, a collision of old ghosts. She stepped back. "No, Liam. Not this time." He lifted his hands, gentle surrender, but his eyes said, "I've seen this before." Scene 3, Steffy breaks the silence. Later, in the Forrester CEO office, the soft glow from the desk lamp cast warm shadows. The celebration was over. Most people had left. Hope was gathering sketches when Steffy stepped inside and closed the door. Not slammed. Just firmly. Hope looked up, already knowing. Steffy didn't accuse. She didn't raise her voice. She simply said, "I saw how you looked at Finn." Hope froze. And Steffy continued. "And I saw how he looked at you." Hope shook her head. "Steffy, no. It's nothing like that. We were talking, just talking." "I know," Steffy said. Her voice wasn't angry. It was hurt. "That's the problem." Hope's breath caught. Steffy stepped closer, not threatening, just real. "You and I have clawed our way out of hell to finally be on the same side. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to hate you again. I don't want to compete again. I can't go back there." Hope's eyes welled. "Neither can I." "Then you need to understand something," Steffy said softly, painfully steady. "Finn is the one person in my life who has never been part of a triangle. He is peace. He is safety. And I will not let anything, or anyone, threaten that." Hope swallowed, tears trembling at the edge of her lashes. "I would never deliberately." "I know," Steffy cut in gently. "But feelings don't need intention to grow." The silence that followed was heavy with truth. "We have survived too much to fall into this again," Steffy whispered. Hope nodded, a tear escaping. "You're right." But the acknowledgement sat between them like a loaded gun. Because sometimes knowing is the beginning of the problem, not the solution. Scene 4, the storm forming. Steffy left the office first. Hope stayed behind, hands on the table, head lowered, breathing like someone trying not to break. A soft rustle of footsteps came from the doorway. It was Finn. Hope didn't turn. He already knew. He stepped closer, slowly, not touching, not intruding, but present. "Steffy talked to you," he said. Hope nodded. "She's scared," she whispered. "She thinks something is happening here." Finn swallowed, guilt moving across his features like a shadow. "Is it?" he asked. Hope finally looked up, eyes raw, open, terrified. "I don't know," she whispered. "And that's what scares me." Finn closed his eyes. The storm had already begun. Not in shouting. Not in betrayal. In awareness. Final shot, the calm breaking. Steffy stood outside the office window, unseen. Watching. Her hand pressed to the glass, not in anger. In grief. Because she recognized the look in both of their eyes. It was the same look Liam once had when he realized Hope was becoming a part of him again. History didn't repeat. Hope sat in her office at Forrester, surrounded by sketches and unfinished fabrics, but the room felt colder than usual. She stared at her phone where Finn's name glowed softly in a thread of recent messages. No flirting. Just support. Just safety. Just the exact thing that could turn into more without anyone intending it. She set the phone face down. She needed clarity. Boundaries. A buffer. The door opened softly. Luna stepped in holding garment bags. "You okay?" Luna asked gently. Hope gave a tight smile. "Just tired." Luna caught the truth, but didn't push. Hope forced herself to breathe. She was going to do this. She was going to protect her peace. Protect Steffy. Protect herself. At the Cliff House, Steffy folded laundry at the table while Kelly colored nearby. The house hummed with ordinary life, the kind Steffy had fought hard to build. Her mind replayed the conversation with Hope over and over. She hadn't accused. She hadn't threatened. She had simply asked. Asked for awareness. For caution. For history to not repeat. Finn walked in from the kitchen, pausing when he saw her face. He brushed a hand along her back. You okay? Steffy forced a small smile. Yeah. Just thinking. Finn leaned down and kissed her hairline, tender, steady, loving. Steffy closed her eyes and let herself believe it was enough. But something in her chest remained braced. Because marriages don't break when hearts are stolen. They break when hearts shift. Even a little. Hope left the building that afternoon with her shoulders set, her gaze forward, a quiet determination shaping every step. She drove to the cliffs. Not the wedding cliffs. Not her sacred memory places. Just, somewhere she could breathe. The wind was sharp. The ocean roared below. Hope wrapped her arms around herself. She whispered into the open air. I won't do this again. She meant it. She meant it. She didn't hear the footsteps at first. Hope. She turned. Finn. Of course. His face, open, gentle, worried, was the last thing she needed to see and the exact thing she had been trying to avoid. How did you? You weren't at the office. I just looked where I thought you might go. Her throat tightened. Finn. He stepped closer, not touching, not demanding, just there. Steffy told me she talked to you, he said quietly. Hope looked away. I don't want to hurt her, she whispered. I know you don't, Finn said. Hope's voice cracked, fragile and exhausted. I can't be the reason someone loses everything. Finn's chest tightened, because that was the same burden he carried. He walked to stand beside her, shoulder to shoulder, looking out over the ocean. Hope, he said softly. You're not doing anything wrong. That's what scares me, Hope whispered. Silence rolled in like the tide, weighted, slow, unspoken truth swelling between them. Finn turned his head, just slightly, just enough to see her profile, her lashes wet, her jaw trembling from the effort of restraint. And that's when the crack happened. Not passion. Recognition. Two people trying too hard to be strong in front of everyone else. Hope, Finn said, voice almost a whisper, you don't have to disappear from my life to prove you're a good person. Hope inhaled sharp. That's exactly why I have to, she said. Finn's expression broke, quiet, aching. You're not alone, he said. Not romantic. Not suggestive. Just the simplest truth. Hope felt it everywhere. The wind pulled her hair across her face. The ocean crashed like blood rushing in her ears. She closed her eyes. I know, she said. And then, with devastating gentleness, she stepped back. Creating distance. Physical. Intentional. Necessary. Finn didn't move forward. He stayed where he was, watching her fight herself. His voice was rough when he finally spoke. Just tell me one thing. Hope looked up, not ready, but present. Did something change? Finn asked. Between us? Hope's breath caught. Yes. No. Maybe. Already. She couldn't answer. Not without breaking something she couldn't fix. So instead, she whispered the safest truth she had. I don't want it to. And that was enough to shatter both of them. Finn's hand flexed at his side, a reflex of longing he did not act on. Hope backed away. Step by step. And Finn let her go. But neither of them turned around. Not yet. Not ready to look away. Not ready to call this what it was becoming. Final shot. The storm moves in. Back at Forrester, Steffi stood at her office window, staring out at the sky. Clouds gathering. Wind shifting. Pressure building. She didn't know why. But she felt it. In her bones. In her marriage. In the space between Hope and Finn that was no longer empty. Her hand pressed flat against the glass. And her voice was almost a whisper. Please don't take him from me. Steffi didn't sleep. The house was quiet except for the ocean outside, but her mind kept replaying the same image. Finn and Hope standing together, too close. Not touching. Not inappropriate. But connected. That was worse. Steffi had always believed emotional intimacy was more dangerous than physical. Because emotions didn't announce themselves. They crept. She paced the living room, arms folded tight against her ribs, breath shallow. Finally, she reached for her phone. For a moment, her thumb hovered, dangerous, emotional, uncertain. Then she made the call. Liam. There was a beat, just one, before he answered. Steffi. Her voice came out so soft it barely sounded like her. I need to talk to you. She chose the cabin. That alone said everything. No memories of Phoebe. No ghosts of weddings. Just quiet space. Liam opened the door and stepped back, letting her in without a word. Steffi didn't sit. She wrapped her arms around herself, like she needed to hold every piece of herself in place. Liam watched her, and didn't push. She finally spoke. It's happening again. Liam's face didn't move, but something in his eyes recognized. Hope, he asked. Steffi nodded, and her voice broke, not with anger, but with grief. She didn't do anything. Not on purpose. And Finn didn't either. But they understand each other in this way that I. Her breath caught. Liam stepped closer, but not too close. Steffi, he said softly, you're not imagining it. Her eyes lifted, raw. You see it too. Liam exhaled shakily. I saw it the second they started talking again. The way they relax around each other. The way they share guilt. The way they carry their pain the same way. Steffi's jaw trembled. Finn is my safe place, she whispered. I can't lose that. I can't go back to fighting hope for the person I love. Liam shook his head slowly. You're not fighting hope. He paused. You're fighting history. Steffi looked away, her voice thin. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself I was being dramatic. But when I saw them today. You saw the beginning, Liam finished. Steffi turned back to him sharply, startled by how precisely he understood. Liam's face changed, something vulnerable surfacing. That's how it started with me and Hope. Not with feelings. Not with intent. Just comfort. Steffi swallowed, hard. And then one day, Liam continued, you wake up and realize you haven't told your partner something, and you're not sure why. And that's when it's already too late. Steffi sat, slowly, like her legs were struggling to hold her. Her voice was barely audible. So what do I do? For a long moment, Liam didn't answer. Then he sat across from her, steady, calm, the one person who had lived every version of this story. You don't accuse, he said. Because they'll deny, and they'll be telling the truth. Steffi nodded. You don't demand distance, Liam continued. That just makes them defend each other. Steffi's breath hitched. So what then? She whispered. Liam looked directly at her. You remind Finn what he almost lost when you left for Europe. Steffi stilled. You remind him that you are home. Not out of fear. Not out of desperation. But because you know the truth, the real truth. He leaned in slightly. Hope doesn't take men. He paused. They drift to her when they feel broken. The words hit Steffi like impact. Not cruel. Not accusatory. Just painfully, perfectly accurate. And Finn is hurting, Steffi whispered. Liam nodded. And Hope is hurting, he added quietly. Steffi closed her eyes, everything falling into place. Two people searching for comfort. Two people with wounds that matched. Two people who could break everything without ever touching. Steffi sat perfectly still. No tears now. Just clarity. She stood, and Liam watched something shift in her posture. Her shoulders straightened. Her breath steadied. Her expression sharpened, not aggressive, but certain. She was no longer reacting. She was choosing. I'm not going to lose my husband, she said quietly. Liam nodded once, fully supportive, fully believing her. You won't, he said. As long as you act now. Gently. Intentionally. Before it grows. Steffi exhaled, grounding herself. She walked toward the door, paused, and turned back to him. Thank you, she said, softly, sincerely. No flirtation. No nostalgia. Just two people who have fought on both sides of the same war. Liam gave a faint, tired smile. You and I always end up here, he said. trying to stop the same story from happening again. Steffy didn't smile back. Because they both knew. History never really disappears. It waits. Final shot. The storm arrives. Steffy drove home. She did not cry. She did not spiral. She did not panic. She walked inside, where Finn was holding Hayes on his hip, laughing at something Kelly said. A perfect picture of family. A picture she would not allow to break. Finn looked up and smiled, soft and relieved when he saw her. Steffy smiled back. But it was a different smile now. Strong. Clear. Determined. She walked to him, placed her hand on his chest, right over his heartbeat, and held his gaze. Finn, she said softly, we need to talk. His smile faded. Because he already knew exactly what she meant.